I'd like to call to order the Common Council meeting for September 27th, 2022 at 6:03 p.m. Attendance roll call.
Alderpersons Wolf, absent. Hamel.
Here.
Terrence is absent. Kapusta.
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Kubaki.
Here.
Madden.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Statement of public notice.
The meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Public comment. This is not the public hearing part. That'll come later in the meeting, but if any city resident or taxpayer is interested in speaking on any agenda item, please step forward, announce your name and your address. And once, twice. Thank you. Communications from the mayor's office. Tonight's previously I just posted or introduced the proposed budget for this coming 2023 year. Common Council will be working on that until October, I believe it's the 25th, when we hope to have the public hearing and adoption that evening. The proposed budget keeps the mill rate nearly the same. Last year it was $3.80 per thousand. The proposed budget is at $3.81 per budget, but it is a work in progress and we will be working on that continually through the next month. Public hearing.
To consider the petition of Brian Schoenleber and Dan Rickert of Autumn Pen LLC concerning the following area described as tax key numbers 2255.979.002 and 225.998.001 located at Ryan Drive on Boxhorn Ave Drive. Vacant lots be granted a rezoning from RSE Suburban Estate District and RC3 Country Residence District to CPD Conservation Plan Development District based on RS2 Suburban Residence District for the purpose of allowing a future single-family conservation subdivision.
Thank you. Adam.
Thank you, Mayor.
Get us up to speed on where we're at before we let our fine public weigh in.
So just to give you just a quick second of history on this property, back in February of 2006, so this property has quite a bit of history with the current owners. February 2006, rezoning was granted for the lot to become all RSE. That was before the current comprehensive plan. At that time, the lot had some split zoning. Back at that time, which is different rules than are in play today, I would make a case with the way our codes are set up. They were approved for, in August of 2006, 16 lots. Minimum lot size at that time was 40,000 square feet. What the proposal is now tonight, which is to rezone the property to a CPD, which is a Conservation Plan Development District. As a reminder, our ordinances specifically have very specific provisions. So normal plan development district, there might be some benefit to the city, but it basically takes a normal zoning district and just tweaks a little bit. What they're asking for here with the conservation plan development district is a very different set of regulations, which is very highly focused on land preservation, in the sense that the ordinance states that at least 50% of the overall development has to remain as open space. That open space can be stormwater ponds, can be wetlands, steep slopes, woodlands, can be area established as prairie, trails, things like that. So there's definitely a lot of goals in our comprehensive plan and our zoning ordinance that recommend this type of development. What the developer does in this case is they prepare what's called a yield plan. So they basically state, okay, if I were to use the existing zoning and existing comp plan designations, how many lots could I get? In the case of this development, that would yield 15 lots. The ordinance then looks to give potential bonus lots kind of as a reward, if you would like to say such, trade-off for giving all this open space, designating all this land as open space, but also kind of is also about like going above and beyond. So in this case, the developer is asking for up to 4 bonus parcels. That's basically what the ordinance would allow them based on their development size, which would bring them to a total concept layout plan of 19 lots. So the 15 the yield shows, the 4 additional bonuses what they're asking for as part of the rezoning. And a couple of the things they're doing as far as trade-offs with this, which I think is probably the biggest item, is they do own land that does span between Ryan on the south and Boxhorn on the north, and they're kind of mid-block, if you want to call it, around that giant block. And in the area under the power lines that are there, they own that entire section of land. They are proposing to install a public trail that would kind of be a connection between those 2 roads, which as a planner I think would be a huge amenity, especially since there aren't a lot of trails there. But if there are still people walking, it's kind of a shortcut, if you want to word it, of people on the southern end of that area trying to go north from there. So that's one of the items that would be the main item that's requested as part of a trade-off, if you would wish to say so, for this rezoning. As far as land use density goes, they're well within the density category. Their density is really 0.71 units per acre, which would, if you were to break this down, basically equates to 1.4 acres of land per lot. Now, in their scenario, they're clustering the lots, smaller lots clustered together, 20,000 square foot minimum lot size. That's where the RS2 base comes in, which is very typical to the Burback subdivision, which was approved not too long ago, just southwest of here. So it's kind of something that has been recently approved in the general area. That's the bulk of it.
Any questions from the Common Council for Adam on what he just described? Okay. Is the petitioner here and have anything they want to add? All right. Anyone from the public wants to be heard? If you do, come up, state your name, address. This is a one-way conversation because it's a public hearing. We will be discussing, this item's on the agenda later on this evening, so we can maybe answer your questions if you have them at that point, but we can't now.
Good evening, Sam Steffen, S95W13457, St. Andrews Drive. I've been living in this area for about 6 years now, and we have a lot of issues with water runoff from the farmland and this proposed area on the north side of Ryan Drive, running across to the south side, flooding the wetlands there. Ryan Drive has been overtopped a couple of times. Most significant one was in 2020. To the point where Milwaukee DPW, Muskego, sorry about that. Muskego DPW had to come out and temporarily block the street. I do have videos of that if council members or anyone else wishes to see that at a later date. I would just ask that with this development, they do not make the water runoff issue worse. And in fact, I would hope they could improve upon that. Second item I have is I just wish to concur with the path, the recreational path that's proposed. I would really like to see that built. I would appreciate if they could actually pave that. Just comment on that. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard on this? Wait too long, we close it, so. Going once, twice. I'll declare this public hearing closed. This will be an agenda item later on this evening, so there may be some more discussion on it at that point from the Common Council. Moving on, consent agenda. Approval of the Common Council minutes from September 13th, 2022. Resolution 080-2022, pre-approval of a certified survey map, two-lot survey, let's see, for Hurin. Resolution 081-2022, reapproval of a four-lot certified survey map for Hurin. Resolution 082-2022, reapproval of a second four-lot certified survey map for Hurin. Resolution 083-2022, approval of a letter of a credit reduction for the Glen at Muskego Lakes LLC, and Resolution 084-2022, approval of Muskego Biotech Building LLC Developers Agreement.
Proven growth.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. There is no new business. Unfinished business. Ordinance 1475, an ordinance to amend the Chapter 22.9 of the Muskego Municipal Code of the City of Muskego, low-speed vehicles, neighborhood electric vehicles, and golf carts. Second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Ordinance 1476, an ordinance to amend the Chapter 343 of the Municipal Code of the City of Muskego, Vehicles and Traffic, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. In front of you, you have a review of committee reports for the Finance Committee meeting from July 26th, 2022 and August 23rd, 2022, as well as the Committee of the Whole from August 23rd, 2022. First reading of ordinances and second reading if rules are waived. Ordinance 1477, ordinance to amend the zoning map of the city of Muskego RSE and RC3 to CPD for Autumn Pen LLC.
Move to approve.
It's actually just the first reading,
Oh,
so.
sorry.
Any comments or information needed for the second reading? I do just want to address one thing that was brought up during the public hearing regarding the stormwater. Currently, undeveloped lands have no stormwater plan. When they get developed, they get a stormwater plan, and there's some very stringent both state and MMSD statutes and rules that that all developers have to follow. Meaning, if there's a stormwater problem on the site, it gets fixed with development. So I know it's a common thing where people think developments are going to cause more water runoff. By rule, they have to account for that on site. So they'll either have to put in ponds or everything that's going to be needed to make sure that they're actually fixing a problem if there was one on site and not contributing to a greater problem. So.
Just a comment that the recent conservation developments have been very successful, including the one on the west side of Lake Danoon, the one on Racine Avenue. They're very livable. The thing that I particularly like about them is that the areas that are protected are in fact protected. It's not part of somebody's backyard where the backyard grows over time and that protected area gets smaller and smaller. So I think these conservation subdivisions are absolutely fantastic.
They do contribute greatly to the drive-by factor. If you like the rural look of our area, having the homes clustered in the center and conservation areas surrounding it, and being able to protect, I mean, I'm not going to speak to the specific site, but often there's like either wetlands or woodlands and things like that that get protected by them. And as Alderman Kabaki had said, if the lot was simply carved up into 15 lots, they may be there, they may not. It's up to the individual homeowner at that point. But the conservation ordinance and allowing this maintains that. So it's actually, I know people don't necessarily always like seeing all the development out in this area, but it's going to happen one way or the other. And if it's going to happen, I think this is one of the best ways for it to happen.
And adding a trail there is going to be huge. There are a lot of people that have been asking for one, and it'll make it very nice for them over there.
And it could spark future trails. I'm not saying it will or won't,
Right.
but it's got a better chance of sparking future trails if you have something to connect it to versus just putting it down the road.
Right.
The gentleman that spoke earlier asked about a paved path. Will that path be paved or will it be cinders or?
Well, it depends on the DNR, going through the permitting process. We prefer to have paved. Our company would prefer to have paved. So that would be the plan. But it may be a boardwalk type part of it, wood chip path. It'll go through the permitting process.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, voucher approval.
Motion to approve utility vouchers in the amount of $25,749.31.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That
There are-
passes.
There are no tax vouchers. Motion to approve general fund vouchers for $243,052.25.
234.
234, I'm sorry,
Okay.
$234,052.25.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
I just want to see if you were listening. Motion to approve wire transfers for debt service in the amount of $579,527.38.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Motion to approve wire transfers for payroll invoices in the amount of $385,803.54.
60.
Second.
64 cents.
54.
It says 64 now.
64 says on here.
Mine says 54.
Thought I heard 64.
I'll throw in a dime. $385,803.64.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
We'll have to correct the finance committee then, because I just read it off of the sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. City officials' reports, there is none. Communications miscellaneous business as authorized by law. Any updates from any of the liaisons or any of the groups?
Okay, thank you.
Any future agenda items, requests? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 6:18.